Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michael J. Bunch. I'm an aspiring author working on my first dark fantasy novel. So today I want to talk about one of the most crucial elements of writing fiction, character development. A fair warning, there are spoilers in this video for the following novels and movies. Stormlight Archive, series by Brandon Sanderson. A Song of Ice and Fire, series by George R.R. Martin. Star Wars, the original trilogy, and The Shawshank Redemption. So if you haven't read or seen them yet, you have been warned. Compelling, well-developed characters are the heart and soul of any good story. They drive the plot forward, evoke emotional resonance in readers, and ultimately make a story memorable. As I've been writing my novel, I've learned firsthand just how important it is to craft multi-dimensional, evolving characters. When I first started developing my protagonist, Aldrich, I focused mainly on his external journey. His quest to uncover his past and navigate his reality as an undead being. But as I wrote, I realized that his internal journey was just as important, if not more so. Aldrich isn't just grappling with the challenges of his environment, he's wrestling with existential questions about identity, purpose, and what it means to be human. To really bring Aldrich to life on the page, I had to dive deep into his psyche. What are his fears, his desires, his moral code? How does his past, the parts he remembers and the parts he doesn't, influence his choice in the present? What are the defining relationships in his life and how do they shape him? Answering these questions helped me transform Aldrich from a two-dimensional archetype into a fully realized complex character. But character development isn't just about protagonists. Every character in your story, from main players to minor roles, should feel authentic and purposeful. One exercise I found helpful was writing backstories for my supporting cast, even if those details never made it into the actual novel. So an example is I wrote a short story for a character named Jay, and it was kind of how he ended up where he did in the book, and it helped me to know where he was at. And understanding a character's history, their motivations, and worldview helps inform how they interact with others and react to plot events. I also learned that character development isn't a one and done deal. Just like real people, fictional characters should grow and change over the course of the story. They should be shaped by their experiences, their relationships, their triumphs, and failures. Static characters feel flat and forgettable, but dynamic characters who undergo meaningful arcs are the ones who stick with readers long after the last page. One of my favorite examples of masterful character development is in Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive series. The character of Kaladin starts out as a bitter, broken man consumed by hatred and despair. But through his experiences and the influence of others, he slowly learns to hope again, to fight for something greater than himself. His journey from a slave to soldier to a leader is earned through blood, sweat, and tears. And it's immensely satisfying to watch because we see every hard-fought step of his development. Another great example from literature is Jaime Lannister from George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. So Jaime begins as a villainous, arrogant knight with a reputation for ruthlessness. But as the story progresses, we see layers to his character peel back. His complex relationship with his sister, his conflicted sense of humor, his growing disillusionment with the ideals of knighthood. All of these facets humanize him and make his gradual redemption arc feel authentic and earned. Moving to film, one of the most iconic examples of character development is found in Star Wars, the original trilogy. with the arc of Han Solo. And when we first meet Han, he's a selfish, cynical smuggler interested only in his own gain. But through his experiences with Luke, Leia, and the Rebel Alliance, he slowly sheds his mercenary ways and learns to fight for a cause that's greater than himself. His journey from scoundrel to hero is one of the emotional cornerstones of the trilogy. Another stellar film example is Andy from the Shawshank Redemption. And Andy enters Shawshank prison as a quiet, unassuming man wrongfully convicted of murder. But over the course of his incarceration, we see his indomitable spirit shine through. Despite the injustices and brutalities he faces, Andy maintains his hope and his sense of self. His journey is one of quiet resilience, the power of the human spirit to endure even the darkest circumstances. That's the power of good character development. It makes readers and viewers deeply invested in a character's fate. We cheer their victories, mourn their losses, and keep turning the page or watching scenes to see what happens next. As a writer, crafting characters that audiences connect with on that level is incredibly rewarding. It's also incredibly challenging, but I believe it's a challenge worth pursuing because at the end of the day, it's the characters we remember long after the plot details fade. So if you're a fellow writer, I encourage you to spend time really fleshing out your characters. Interview them, write their backstories, put them through the ringer, and see how they react. The more you know your characters, the more authentic they'll feel on the page. And if you're a reader or a moviegoer, pay attention to how your favorite creators develop their characters. Note the subtle details and grand arcs that make a character come to life. I hope this gives you a glimpse into my own process and gets you thinking about the art of character development. It's a skill I'm still honing with every page I write, but I'm excited to keep growing and pushing myself to create characters as unforgettable as the ones I admire. That wraps up today's video. Next time, we'll be diving into world building and how to craft immersive, authentic settings. If there are any other topics that you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. And as always, happy writing.